Atmospheric tension pressed down on them, thick and wet, like a soaked heavy blanket. The dense jungle of Zephyr 9 had gone dead silent. No distant cries, no rustling leaves, just the terrifying fluid sound of 8 Kalins sliding from the canopy. Their obsidian armor drank the dim light. Their bladed limbs sank into the wet soil without a whisper. Commander Zephr Vane stopped breathing. Her elite crew, massive beings bred for combat and survival, froze entirely. These were the galaxy's most lethal apex predators. There was no fighting them. There was only dying. And then, a dull, heavy thud broke the silence. Elias Thorne dropped his 50-kilo equipment pack into the mud. The human, the smallest, softest creature on the stellar vanguard, stepped deliberately into the narrow space between the hunting pack and her paralyzed crew. It defied every instinct Zephr possessed. When the physically inferior trainee first joined her elite alien crew a month ago, she had filed a formal protest. The galaxy thought humans were soft prey. They were terrifyingly fragile. No scales, no protective ridges, no natural weapons at all. Elias looked exactly as weak as the tactical reports suggested, with pale skin that bruised easily and eyes that sat too close together. She had assigned him the most grueling physical maintenance just to prove a point. He spent his shifts scraping carbon buildup from the thruster housings and hauling depleted power cells across the lower decks. Her crew, towering species built of muscle and dense bone, openly mocked his lack of natural defenses. They laughed when water leaked from his skin sweat, he called it. They sneered when he used both arms to lift a crate they could toss with 2 fingers. Elias never argued. He simply wiped his face and kept working. It turned out, deceptive appearances were a human specialty. Instead of resting after a brutal 14-hour shift, Elias did something entirely baffling. Zephr had watched him on the internal security feeds. Down in the cavernous cargo bay, while the rest of the ship slept, he ran. He didn't sprint. He just moved in a relentless rhythmic circuit around the massive shipping containers. An hour passed. Then 2. His breathing never broke rhythm. It was a bizarre, unsettling display of evolutionary stamina that left Zephr staring at the monitor in profound confusion. Why would a prey animal burn precious energy when nothing was chasing it? She didn't understand that she was looking at a creature built for persistence hunting. When they deployed to the hostile surface of Zephyr 9, Zephr assigned Elias the heaviest gear. It was supposed to be a lesson. The air on the surface was sweltering, chewing at their lungs with every breath. Yet, as they pushed through the suffocating green gloom, Elias simply adjusted his straps. He kept pace, while her heavily armored crew began to pant and slow down in the humid crush. The human kept walking, his steps even, his gaze constantly sweeping the tree line. Then the noise stopped. When apex predators ambush a survey team, the weakest crew member becomes the deadliest threat. The Kalin materialized from the undergrowth, completely encircling the team in a flawless tactical standoff. Zephr's massive heavy weapons specialist couldn't even raise his rifle. Pure, chemical terror locked their joints. But Elias stepped forward. He didn't draw a weapon. He didn't scream for backup. He just walked right toward the largest Kalin, his hands resting loosely at his sides. Truth is, Zephr had never seen anything like it. Every biological entity in the galaxy possessed a fundamental survival reflex. When faced with overwhelming lethal force, muscles coiled, heart rates spiked, blood flooded the extremities to prepare for a violent end or a desperate sprint. Elias did the exact opposite. Zephr watched the human's physical tells with profound disbelief. His shoulders dropped. The rigid tension in his neck melted away. His breathing stretched out, slowing into a terrifyingly steady, deep rhythm. He was not giving up. He was powering down into a state of absolute predatory focus. He was calm. The massive Kalin Alpha leaned down, its bladed limbs twitching inches from Elias's face. It studied the forward-facing eyes. It processed the bizarrely relaxed stance and the complete absence of fear pheromones. Then, the beast did something unprecedented. It flinched. The Alpha emitted a low, grinding click sound of ancient recognition. It remembered. Generations ago, this soft, clawless race had chased the Kalan across entire star systems. They had tracked them through endless atmospheric cycles without sleeping, turning the galaxy's greatest killers into exhausted prey. Elias did not raise a weapon. He simply gestured to Zephr and the frozen, towering aliens behind him. He stepped closer to the Alpha. One small step. The entire pack of 8 killers shifted backward in unison. Elias pointed to the wet soil at his boots. He claimed the giant aliens as his own, his herd, his responsibility. The Alpha's compound eyes locked onto the human's unblinking stare. Slowly, agonizingly, the beast took another step back, then another. The deadliest predators in known space lowered their blades and melted away into the dense foliage, completely surrendering the territory. The crushing pressure evaporated. Zephr's knees nearly gave out, but Elias just turned around. The cold, terrifying focus vanished from his eyes, instantly replaced by the mild, ordinary expression of a maintenance worker. He walked back to his dropped 50-kilo pack, grabbed the heavy canvas straps, and hoisted it onto his back in one smooth motion. He adjusted the weight as if he hadn't just forced an apex species into submission with nothing but a look. Zephr found her voice. Her vocal cords felt dry and scraped. She looked at the small, fragile creature standing among her heavily armored crew. The illusion of his weakness was utterly shattered. Earned respect didn't come from biological advantages. It came from what a creature was willing to face. She stepped toward him. Her towering frame no longer felt superior. She spoke clearly, her voice echoing off the massive, humid tree trunks. She stripped him of his trainee title right there in the mud. He was an officer now, a full member of the vanguard. Elias offered a single, brief nod. He didn't celebrate. He just turned toward the deepest, darkest part of the jungle. He tapped the display on his wrist-mounted scanner, checked the bearing, and took the point position. Zephr and her elite crew fell in line behind him without a single word of protest, willingly following the most dangerous creature they had ever met, deeper into the unknown.